I know it's so hard for you, Christopher. I can see it. I can see it in your face. I can see it in your eyes.
It
and
is.
You will get through this. Your public defenders have been so wonderful.
Yeah, they're an amazing team.
They're amazing people, and they have nothing but great things to say about you. Everybody has everything great to say about you.
Actually, Chris's public defenders didn't only have great things to say about him, unless you consider this to be a great thing.
My attorneys told me, you need to show a little more emotion, because I guess first time I went to the courtroom, I didn't know what to expect. They said I was just a cold person, just looking at it.
Chris had to be taught to show emotion, which reveals two things: that emotions don't come naturally to him, and that people can't trust his behavior in court, or performance more like it. If you have to be reminded about showing emotions about a heinous crime like this, maybe you're not pure-hearted and the kindest person there ever was.
You had a pure heart, a good soul. No one could ever say anything bad about you. You were the kindest person there ever was.
And that's the point. This phone call is a study in what can happen when fantasy clashes with reality, when someone isn't who you want them to be. Chris's mother, Cindy, consistently idealizes Chris, which manifests itself in her language.
Because that's what I need. I need to see my son. Christopher, you look really good.
Thank you. You do too.
You do. You look really, really good. Oh my goodness. Because you mean too much to us. So much to us.
You guys mean the world to me too, trust me.
These excerpts speak volumes about the dynamic in this interaction. Cindy's the one doing most of the talking and leading the conversation. Chris, on the other hand, is passive, mostly parroting what his mother says. So does Chris really feel the emotions that are implied in the statements? Three circumstances cast doubt on that. 1. The parroting, that he's rarely, if ever, the one initiating conversations about loving and needing anyone. And 2, because his overly convincing language.
You guys mean the world to me too, trust me.
Has little to no value, because obviously he was willing to take the lives of 4 people who were supposed to mean the world to him. And 3, he's a pathological liar with a history of faking emotions for self-benefit.
When I got home yesterday, it was like a ghost town. She wasn't here. Kids weren't here. I have no idea where they went. And it's just earth-shattering. I don't feel like this is even real right now. It's like a nightmare that I just can't wake up from. I want her back so bad. I want those kids back so bad. My kids are my life. Those smiles light up my life. Shanann, Bella, Celeste, if you're out there, just come back.
Trust me.
And Ronnie got baptized?
Yeah, he told me about that.
You're the only person in this world that can make that man do anything. Everybody wanted him baptized for a long time. Remember Mama tried to get him to get baptized?
I know.
Wouldn't do it.
This isn't the only time Chris is treated as an authority when it comes to the Bible, as the one who gets his existing family members to do something. Not because the Bible says it necessarily, but because he says it. Chris's sister does it too.
When you write me, you can explain some of the Bible to me, because when I read it, I don't understand it. So... Do you understand it?
I understand.
I have a hard time.
Yeah, because once I read it, I've gone back and read a few of the books again.
However, same as when Chris talks about having feelings for his family in a self-serving attempt not to get caught, can he be believed when he talks about the Bible and personal development because of the Bible? 3 circumstances cast doubt on that. 1, that he's in prison with little else to do than read, and inmates often read the Bible because, aside from the church services that many of them have access to on TV and in real life, it's one of the most accessible books in prison, and most likely the most accessible book in most prisons. Thus, it's easy for inmates to feel that they've changed, that they're new men, so to speak, when in fact, they only feel that way or pretend to feel that way because church services are all they watch and the Bible's all they read for hours every day. Just because someone feels they've changed, it doesn't mean they have. And 2, Chris references the Bible in a way that could be interpreted as opportunistic and self-serving. For instance, the following is how he reflects on what his wife thought in her final moments.
Did you look at her? What was she doing?
Well, fighting.
Why do you think she wasn't fighting?
Well, maybe she was praying. Maybe she was just. Now I read the Bible and said, where the scripture says, don't forgive these people for they do not know what they do. Mm-hmm. Maybe she was saying that. I don't know what she was saying in her head, but she.
The Bible has more than 30,000 verses in it, but Chris chooses these verses. What's significant about these verses is that Chris can use them to imply that he didn't know what he was doing either, which is what his previous statements have implied.
And every time I think about it, I'm just like, did I know I was going to do that before I got on top of it?
Really? That's an interesting thought, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know if you knew.
And I woke up that morning, it was going to happen, and I had no control of it. It just I couldn't let it go. It was like somebody else, like if you picture somebody else around you, holding your hands, holding you, keep you from not letting go. Forgive these people for they do not know what they do.
Thus, he also implies that his victim forgave him in the moment, which is implausible. And the following is his message to people who still judge him.
There was one church service, the only one I've family gone to in here, and said you're not defined by one moment in your life. And I think that's people are defining me by one moment in my life. They don't know what happened before or what can happen later. Right. So I just hope that maybe hopefully one day people can stop judging everybody.
One moment, he calls it, downplaying his crime and responsibility. He says this as if he's in a position to remind or even reprimand people, which speaks to a sense of entitlement and lack of guilt. The third circumstance that makes it difficult, if not impossible, to believe Chris when he talks about the Bible and personal development because of the Bible, is that he's had no problem lying in the name of the God he claims to believe in.
Honestly, I do not know where they are at. If I could have my babies back home right now, I would. I want them back. I want everybody back. That is the God's honest truth. That is the God's honest truth.
Yeah. I'm just happy that you're okay and that you are going to make this work.
Oh, well.
You hear me?
Yep.
You will make this work. And your Bible studies, that even makes me, I pray every day now. Every day. And you make me want to start reading the Bible.
It's an amazing book for sure.
I know.
I never thought I could read the whole thing.
Exactly, and the reason why he's been able to read the whole thing is because he has little else to do. He can then use Bible characters to make them sound like him. Listen to this.
Okay, just like in my devotional today, it was mentioned Esther. It was a door of hope, and the Lord was speaking to Esther, and she was saying to the Lord, I've led you to the wilderness, but I will plant in that wilderness vineyards. If you go through the valley of Core, which is the valley of trouble, I will put a door of hope. But even though you're in a wilderness, you're going to plant vineyards in that wilderness. Though you're in the valley of trouble, there's going to be a door of hope in that trouble.
Chris makes his story sound predestined, as if the crimes were meant to happen. Without the crimes, there couldn't be vineyards and a door of hope. Considering the heinous nature of his crimes, that's some implication, as if 4 people had to lose their lives for Chris to believe that there's hope. However, who actually created this valley of trouble? Who actually led him to the wilderness? He did. His decisions and actions led him to where he is. However, by comparing himself to a protagonist from the Bible, he can make it sound like it was all God's plan, as if he's even similar to Esther in the first place. Chris's sense of self-importance is unmistakable, and it's reinforced whenever he's told what a great inspiration he is when it comes to the Bible. If Chris had truly learned from what he's done, if he truly felt remorse, would he want to escape punishment?
I know I only have a year left to appeal some of those Class B and C felonies at like a 3-year limit and a 2-year limit. I just want to get out of here. I know that God has a plan for me, and it's to be in prison right now, but not stay here. Because He brought me here for a reason. But He also wants me to do something on the outside. I know I just can't sit here and just wait.
It's an amazing book for sure.
When a person can use a book to make themselves sound special and make other people sound judgmental, they'll think it's amazing.
Maybe, hopefully one day people can stop judging everybody.
Oh, I'm just happy that you're okay.
What's missing here is that Chris is the only one of 5 family members who's okay, as the other 4 aren't alive anymore. But Chris is the sole focus in everything Cindy wants to talk about.
I would have never in a million years thought something like this could happen to him at all.
When some of Chris's victims are mentioned, it's to compare them to him.
What pictures did you choose for the service?
Oh, remember when we were at the splash pad in Colorado? The one where Cece just turned around and I got a really good close-up picture of her, and I used that. And then the one with Bella at the splash pad where she was wrapped up in the blanket, and she looked so peaceful, so solemn, just serious, just like you. She was just you.
Yeah.
She was you. She was you. And I know it's so hard for you.
By comparing Chris to someone who's innocent, one of his daughters, Cindy can make it look like Chris is a good person. Excuse me, pure-hearted person, even though the only reason why she has to use past tense was about her granddaughters is because of her kind son's evil deeds. The unconditional support of and sole focus on Chris make it easy for Chris to assume the role of the reminiscing father, asking about the pictures as if his victims would want to be associated with him, let alone be compared to him. However, Cindy's enthusiastic and detailed descriptions, as if Chris wasn't the reason why there even had to be a service, make it easy for Chris to play that role.
And whatever else you need, I mean, you just tell me. We'll get it to you. Christopher, we support you 100%. I don't care what happens. If you ever want to tell us, fine. But right now, I just want you to be okay.
Thank you.
Are you going to be okay?
I'll be okay.
All right.
I'll stay strong, trust me.
You better stay strong.
And yes, Chris is going to be okay. He, on the other hand, didn't give 4 members of his family the opportunity to be okay, his wife and children. So in comparison, it's easy for Chris to stay strong, as he says, as if what he finds tough matters at this point.
I know. I just want to sit here and look at you.
I don't care what happened, Cindy says. Previously, she said this.
I don't care what you did. I love you so much. And that's all there is to it.
To Chris, someone who's displayed a lack of guilt and a prominent sense of self-importance, statements like these affirm his mindset and self-perception. When you don't have to explain yourself, you don't have to hold yourself accountable. Also, it's very likely that Cindy doesn't want to know what Chris did, as it might shatter her in many ways unrealistic image of him. This unrealistic image or illusion is underlined here.
Got so many people out there that love you and pray for you, and they know what kind of man you are. Everybody knows what kind of man you are. So
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, everybody does. People out there they know who you are. And they know what kind of person you are. And what do you recommend for eating out here?
Well, I don't know, like the places around Greeley. I'm not really like familiar with.
The way
What do you
Cindy
recommend
changes the
for eating out
subject
here?
makes sense, considering that it's difficult or impossible to substantiate the claim that so many people love and pray for Chris. This change is foreshadowed by Cindy's pauses and stalling, as she repeats the same things over and over again, repetitions that end up sounding like mantras that are key in making sure that nothing shadows the image that some parents have of their criminal children.
Yeah.
She was you. She was. She was you.
Cindy goes from man to person, which doesn't make a difference, but only keeps indicating how difficult it is for her to substantiate her claim.
And they know what kind of man you are. And they know what kind of person you are.
Notably, Cindy goes from so many people, a limited amount, to the unlimited people, and even everybody.
Got so many people out there that love. People out there they know who you are. Everybody knows what kind of man you are.
In reality, most people would judge a man who's pleading guilty to a crime like this. And notably, Chris believes it. It means a lot to hear that, he says.
Yeah,
and it makes sense
does.
why he believes it, considering that he also seems to prefer fantasy over reality.
Forgive these people for they do not know what they do. Maybe she was saying that.
And what kind of man do people know he is? The kind of man who had trouble faking emotions just hours after his crimes.
I want her back so bad. I want those kids back so bad. It's just earth shattering. I don't feel like this is even real right now. It's like a nightmare that I just can't wake up from.
Chris knows which emotional and dramatic terms to use, but he can't find appropriate facial expressions to go with them, which, yes, says a lot about the kind of man he is.
And they know what kind of man you are.
But like I was telling Dad to make sure like he gets some like green chili or something, just to have that for you. Like I know, I'm not even sure if you guys even. I don't think you guys even had it when you came to visit those couple times.
No.
I don't think you ever did.
No. No.
So yeah,
Not at all.
definitely like you gotta have that before you leave. Just make sure you eat something while you're here.
There's a reason why Chris's parents only visited him and his wife a couple of times. In the following, Cindy portrays Chris's wife as the antagonist and Chris as the protagonist and victim.
She always said a lot of things about Chris in front of me that I didn't like.
And they got married in 2012. Did they get married in North Carolina?
They did. Mm-hmm.
How was that?
We didn't attend.
Really?
Mm-mm. We didn't attend because Shanann and I just couldn't get along.
In the following, notice how Chris and Cindy grab onto anything that can make Chris's circumstances sound predestined. Fantasy over reality every time.
How are you emotionally right now? Are you finding solace in the Bible?
Oh yeah, like they have this it's like a book cart that comes around every 2 weeks, and I get to pick 2 books, and I just usually pick 2 religious books and just kind of see what, just to read it kind of distracts me and just kind of like learn some different things.
Well, maybe you were meant to do that.
It seems that way.
Maybe you were. That's what I say. Your story's not over. There's more to come.
Cindy's trapped between reality and her fairy tale. To her, Chris's story can't be over, because that would mean that there isn't any meaning to her pure-hearted son's circumstances. Chris's story is indeed over, and there isn't more to come. But Cindy needs his story to go on, which is in line with her many repetitions reinforcing her claims. Such repetitions are like mantras, indicative of people who are trying to convince themselves of something, as opposed to actually being convinced. Chris claims he's learned different things from reading the Bible, but as I've pointed out, there are self-serving motives behind the things he borrows from the Bible, like when he judges people for judging.
People are defining me by one moment in my life. Maybe, hopefully one day people can stop judging everybody.
If this is the kind of solace Chris finds in the Bible, it doesn't sound like solace at all, but opportunism. Chris is a pathological liar, so when he claims that he's learned something, people should consider his actions, his crimes, and some of his other statements.
I just want to get out of here. I know I just can't sit here and just wait.
Well, maybe you were meant to do that.
Talk about making Chris sound special. The implications of this statement are absurd, as if 4 people were meant to lose their lives so that Chris could feel like he was meant to learn different things from a God whose name he's had no problem lying in.
That is the God's honest truth.
Oh, Chris. Gosh, it's so good to see you.
Good to see you too.
So good to see you and talk to you and know how you're feeling. And
Chris didn't confess because he couldn't live with himself. On the contrary, he was able to live with himself when having an extramarital relationship was his only crime, not punishable by law, of course. He confessed because he didn't have any other options, and that was after hours of lies. This, coupled with his parroting, is why Cindy can't know what Chris is feeling, contrary to what she says, just like Chris's family didn't know before it was too late. Chris was and is able to hide in the kind of unconditional love and support he's shown here.
And know how you're feeling, and you just got to get through these next few weeks.
Considering what Chris put his victims through, what he has to get through pales in comparison. Chris isn't the one who has to suffer something, contrary to what Cindy and Chris could be argued to make it sound like.
I know, it's hard. I know it's so hard. Yes, on the 19th. Absolutely. I want to be there to support you.
Thank you. It'll mean a lot. It's gonna be a long day that day.
I know it will be.
Compared to tomorrow, it's just gonna be like 30 minutes maybe at the max, and then it'll be done. But yeah, that day is gonna be long.
Because you're loved unconditionally.
Thank you.
You were my smart kid. I mean, you were my... Lord, you never even rebelled.
He was a perfect teenager, tell you the truth. He did not even rebel.
So what if he didn't rebel? That has no bearing on his later decisions in life and where he is now. And loving someone as deceptive as Chris unconditionally makes it easy for him to hide the darker sides of his personality and explain them away with shyness and other innocuous personality traits.
Bella was just like Chris. Just like him, shy, cautious, conservative.
Thank you.
You were my smart kid.
If Chris was a smart kid, where does that leave his sister? This excerpt speaks to Cindy's image of her son, an image that doesn't correspond to where he is now, that doesn't correspond to reality, which again explains the many unreliable claims.
And they know what kind of man you are. Everybody knows what kind of man you are.
I know.
Kid, you were perfect. You were the perfect kid. Everything you did with... You were so conscientious. You are so conscientious.
Thank you.
In reality, no one's perfect. But then again, this conversation isn't primarily grounded in reality. When considering Chris's crimes, his pathological lying, and his wish for people to stop defining him by one moment in his life, the adjective conscientious is misplaced and is once again a sign of a parent who chooses or pretends to believe the image she has of her son, as opposed to how her son actually is, or also is. If you liked the video, click the like button and subscribe for more. Until next time.
You have to ask yourself 3 questions when you're in a relationship. Do I have a desire to keep this relationship going? Do I have a moral obligation to stay in this relationship? Or is it a necessity for me to stay in this relationship? If you met somebody at work or a new friendship has occurred and you, as it goes on, you see that, okay, maybe this relationship has more potential than the relationship I have with my partner. And that would gradually push the old relationship out and push the new relationship in.